Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. Doing JMA Friday for today's video. So as always on a Friday, we're having a look at the weather for the month ahead with Japanese and CFS V2 models, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that first, video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released a little update for Le Mans and also download. So check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Got 10 to 14 day coming up for you later on as well. So busy day at GavsWeatherVids today. Please like, share, subscribe on all of the videos, and thank you so very much everybody for doing that. Okay, we're going to start off with the week 1. 500 millibar height anomaly from the JMA for the Arctic and North Pole view down. It's taking us from today, the 2nd, through to the 9th of June. So this is the North Pole, just here, wider Arctic circle around there. They've all got mid-latitudes through here. Blue is extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure. Yellow, orange, and red to above average heights, which is high pressure. These are broken down into week periods, and I'd say the first week period will take us from the 2nd to the 9th of June. So, the coming week, this next week, we'll have above average heights, high pressure, right over top of the country and out into Atlantic 2. Below average heights, low pressure into southern, southwestern parts. Your jet stream push southwards as well. So another anticyclonic week to come. Week 2 will be the 9th to the 16th of June. A little bit of a change this week. The high pressure looks like it's going into retrograde, pulling out into Atlantic, going up towards Greenland, with low pressure into Scandinavia and also to our south and southwest. A little bit of a pincer movement going on against the high pressure. So probably turning a little bit cooler and a little bit more showery there, I would have thought. Not necessarily all that unsettled, but you know, more showery and slightly changeable compared to week 1. And then weeks 3 and 4 will take us from the 16th to the 30th of June. So there we get an area of low pressure, trough of below average heights centered out to our west, with a ridge of above average heights, high pressure to our northeast. There was a battle going on here, but I think it's really below pressure in the Atlantic that is in the ascendancy there. So I think the JMA is trying to turn things more unsettled as we go through June, and wouldn't necessarily go running away with the idea that it's going to be a washout, but certainly turning more showery and more changeable, I think, as June progresses with the JMA today. But let's have a look at the tropical and mid-latitude view to confirm that. So we can't see the North Pole, Arctic, Greenland, Scandinavia, all those areas off the chart up here. But of course, as we've had a look at that view down, we know what's going on. So this is at the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly. Just a reminder of that, taking us from the 2nd to the 9th of June, with a large area of high pressure more or less over the top of the country, slightly out into the Atlantic. So actually not overly warm with the temperature anomaly in the week ahead, sort of eastern areas. A little bit hard to make it out, but eastern areas are actually a little bit cooler than normal. Warmer than average for Ireland though, and going out into the Atlantic. It is drier than normal across the country and also into Ireland as well. Week 2 is the excuse me, is the 9th to 16th of June. Again, we take that high pressure into retrograde and put it into the Atlantic, with lower pressure to the south and also to the northeast as well. The temperature anomaly is at average, just a little bit cooler than average again for the UK and Ireland. Certainly not particularly exciting temperature-wise, and is a little bit more unsettled as well here, with slightly above average rainfall. Certainly for England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland still looking rather on the drier side though. But certainly things beginning to wobble a little bit there through the 2nd week of June. And then weeks 3 and 4, which is 16th to 30th of June, brings in the trough of low pressure from off the Atlantic. Looks a little bit on the unsettled side, I have to say. Temperature normally picks up a little bit in the west, goes milder than average for Ireland, or warmer than average for Ireland, and probably lifts up closer to normal for the rest of the country as well. But it turns more unsettled with above average rainfall. So as we're progressing on here, it looks like June has an increasingly unsettled signal to it with the JMA today. A little bit of a shocker this one, a little bit of a turn up for the books. But that's what the model's showing today. We can only go by what the models are showing, of course. What about CFS V2? How does that compare? Let's have a look. So again, these are 500 millibar height anomalies, break it down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 2nd to the 8th of June. The coming week, again, is dominated by high pressure over the country and out into the Atlantic as well. So mostly dry, fine and anticyclonic there. Week 2 is the 9th to the 15th of June. So high pressure is going to retrograde to some degree out into the Atlantic, but also we've got this ridge here around Scandinavia and Denmark. And so that probably keeps us in mostly dry conditions, although we have got quite a lot of low pressure in the Atlantic. But I think the high pressure just about holding that off there. Week 3 is the 16th to the 22nd of June. High pressure to our east then, and low pressure out in the Atlantic. So that's probably pulling up a warm or a very warm southerly wind. But again, it should bring a reasonable amount of dry weather, especially to eastern parts of the country. And then week 4 is the 23rd to 29th of June with high pressure to our south and southwest, low pressures to the north of Scotland. So we're reverting back to more of a westerly flow there. Probably turning more unsettled for Scotland, should be mostly dry still. Quite warm for England and Wales. So number 2, the CFS definitely is the drier and the warmer of the two as we go through June today. And other than week 1, they aren't really in agreement from as early as week 2 onwards. Temperature anomalies for week 1, 2nd to the 8th of June. Warmer than average for northern and western parts of the country. A little bit on the cooler than average side though in the south and the southeast, probably. Week 2 goes very warm in all areas. This is the 9th to the 15th of June. Above average temperatures widely across the UK and Ireland in those red colours. That's taking us like 1-2 degrees or more above average. Week 3, 16th to 22nd of June. That one also looking warmer than normal. And then week 4 rounds it up. It's the 23rd, 29th of June. And that one also looking significantly above average. So CFS is warmer with the temperatures compared to JMA. And precipitation for week 1, 2nd to 8th of June, drier than normal. Week 2, which is the 9th to the 15th of June. So it's drier than normal actually for the north. It's trying to go a little bit wetter down to the south and southwest. That might be a slightly more changeable week. And then week 3 is the 16th, 22nd of June. Maybe a little bit surprisingly, it goes rather wetter than average to more western regions. The signal is weakening though. And then week 4, 23rd to the 29th of June. That looks a little bit on the west side, just out to the northwest. Otherwise, the signal is very, very weak with CFS by that point, as it always is for precipitation. Right then, so a little bit of a mixed bag this one actually. I'm a little bit surprised, I have to say, about how this has gone, particularly with JMA. But CFS, you could envisage that we get away with another relatively dry and warm month actually there for June. But the JMA definitely looking quite unsettled once we get week 1 out of the way. The JMA definitely, deteriorating the pattern and turning things rather more changeable as we go, particularly through the middle and second half of June. So we should wait and see. Remember, it's just a snapshot of what these two models are showing. They could look completely different when we look at them again next week. Any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pinch to start attached. But that's what they're showing today anyway. Now, we're going to be back later on with your 10 to 14 there, which will include, of course, all other regular features. So come back for that then. For JMA Friday for this week, though, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.